YouTube is doing some really sus shit, okay? And as you can see in the little capture window, oh, make sure I'm in the screen there. It looks a little bit different than the normal stuff that we talk about. Normally, you'd be seeing right there, you'd be seeing an article or something. We'll be getting into that because this isn't just affecting one thing, and I find this one a little bit weird, mostly because what a lot of people were probably touching on is going to end up becoming true. But yeah, YouTube, they're really pulling some shenanigans, some of which you come to expect, and another one, yeah, is just kind of a continuation on. But as you can see, this is a screenshot. Okay, I got a little message from YouTube. YouTube removed your video. It's like, okay, what would that make, 16 on the channel? So it's like not anything new, but the little icon is a little bit different because it's like, I've never received that one before. And so I was taking a look at it. It's like, what video got taken down? Well, it's the most recent one about Ashli Babbitt, okay? And for obvious reasons, I will not be getting into any more detail, but if you guys want to watch that video, I did a pretty good job, and I went back and just watched it as well, and I was wondering, it's like, okay, did I say anything that was in there that has to do with the coup or has to do with any sort of election stuff? And it's like, well, not really. I just kind of called out the Lincoln Project for being a bunch of fucking sexual predators, but yeah, that's like every other video as well whenever we talk about those creeps, so I couldn't have anything to do with it. And then the media also, oh, we need to go into counseling because of all of the terror that we faced on January 6th. It's like, ugh, you guys are just a bunch of losers. So no, nothing really objectionable there. So what could this be all about? So let's read this. Hi, Don Consuelo. Really personal touch you have there. We wanted to let you know that our team reviewed your content and think that it violates our harassment, threats, and cyberbullying policy. Okay, weird. We know that you may not have realized that this was a violation of our policies. Okay, I see what you guys are setting up here. So we're not applying a strike to your channel. However, we have removed your following content from YouTube. Ashli Babbitt, shooter, blah, 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 goes on and continues. So it's like, okay. So, okay, we're getting rid of your video because it might have violated something, but you might not have known about it at the time, so we're just going to go ahead and remove some of that uncomfortable history, but we aren't going to punish you for it. It's Kate, don't worry about it. And it's like, that's weird. So I filed off the little appeal. You get, what is it, 300 or 400 characters to write your appeal, and it's like, I didn't say anything objectionable. The entire point of this was to just highlight something, and then potentially, and I even in watching the video back, I didn't specifically say go out and do anything to said individual that we were talking about in the latter half of the video as well. And at the same time, I was also not really comfortable, but the party that is most affected at this point is the Ashli Babbitt family, and they're getting answers, and some investigative journalism was at least attempting to reconcile that. And then, yeah, just before I was recording, I wanted to see if it was going to go back up, because, well, if it just went back up and it just ended up getting flagged, or it just got hit after a couple of days of being up, which is another weird thing, I got my appeal back, and it's like, we have reviewed your content carefully and have confirmed that it violates our harassment, threats, and cyberbullying policy. I don't know how, because I've also went through, and we could go through if you guys really want to. Otherwise, it's like, okay, what was the harassment and cyberbullying and threats policy? I watched the video back. I couldn't find anything that was even remotely close to that, except for the fact that there was some whistleblowing going on. Now it's like, okay, was it just my video that was targeted? Because, okay, I know they're on my radar, or I'm on their radar rather. And was it one of those instances where it's just kind of selectively applying the policy? But if you search the name of the person in question, not Ashli Babbitt, but you take a look at that name there, and I don't want to say it because I also don't want to get this video taken down, mostly because we're going to be talking about some other stuff that YouTube and social media at large, and I guess it's just kind of the government, is going to try to be doing. No, we don't bother, or we need not risk that, because the video is still up on Rumble and it's still up on Odyssey, so I'm not really that concerned. Daily news coverage, you know, fucking things turn over all the time, so if somebody removes a video from a couple of months ago, as long as I don't get a strike on the channel, I'm not really that concerned, because you know YouTube and their algorithms and the fucking selective enforcement policies that they have. But this one right here, oh, there's no selective policy on this one. You search that name in any form or context, you just either add their classification, you add the middle initial, anything and everything that's associated with that, is wiped off the platform. It's super fucking weird. It's just like that guy's presence beforehand. You search that name out there, you can't find any social media accounts. You can't find any sort of records from him from the public library. It's all gone. It's all gone. It's like he never fucking existed. The only thing that I can still see that's up there is the source article we used. And another thing, in researching for this, I was like, okay, has anybody else been targeted for this? It's like, well, you can't find anything. And you can't find anybody even talking about this subject. It's really weird. So I'm trying to do justice for Ashli Babbitt, and I think that that's fair because we all know what happened and think that it's, well, horrifically unjust to say the least. So we're going to see where this goes, mostly because everything regarding this entire situation is just kind of happening in the dark right now, and I don't like it one bit. But like I also said, YouTube they're having a time, okay, because they're getting rid of more stuff as well, and that's why I'm thankful that at least Trump opened up a Rumble account. And you know what? It's kind of revived the stagnant platform, because I think it's like everybody got really tired of politics just right after the election, right? And it's like everybody's views started to go down. That's fine. Mine aren't that high anyway, so I didn't really notice anything. Still got some of my best viewed videos post-election up till right now. It's just, if you're going to be letting these big media corporations run the exact same coverage that the smaller creators aren't allowed to touch, and then you monetize and allow them to stay up, like CNN, MSNBC, they can get away with showing and promoting murder at this point. But then you have the former president of the United States, he goes out there, he has a speech, and then you get rid of everything, okay? The CPAC speech, the one that we kind of touched on yesterday and didn't really go over. Yeah, there were no clips to pull because the entire speech got taken down. And the CPAC account is now on hiatus, or I guess it would have got a strike, so it would be gone for 7 days. This happened yesterday. I would have liked to included that, but this happened just after we did the recording, so kind of consider this a little bit of a catch-up as well. YouTube deleted a video of former President Donald Trump from the American Conservatives Union account and prevented the group from live streaming the former president's Sunday CPAC speech. In a statement, ACU Chairman Matt Schlapp said the group learned that its account had been frozen for 7 days over the video from Friday, which Mr. Trump announces his class action lawsuit against the Silicon Valley titans such as Google and YouTube. Fucking hilarious, right? You can't broadcast a speech that he has on your channel from your own convention because he had the audacity to broadcast a press conference that he held for something that addresses, I guess, your parent company, but not even YouTube directly, just Google itself, big Google. Fucking funny, right? God, they're so shook. They're so shook at this one. The loss of access to the video account means the ACU, which runs a conservative political action conference, could not upload Mr. Trump's speech or any other live content from CPAC 2021 Part 2 in Dallas over the weekend. Yes, that's why any clips for it and going back to try to watch it is really, really difficult, at least to do on YouTube. There are other platforms, and of course you could do it on Rumble because they're a little bit more free speech. The only thing that you can't talk about is, I think their policy is like pornography and overt and obvious racism. It's like, okay, we don't ever really touch on that. So I'm still hoping they pop off as being the alternative and the big challenge that YouTube needs, mostly because I think that their video hosting itself is great. Like, the video quality is always there. It's just your search function and your app are like Flappy Bird levels of development. It's not great. It's clear that YouTube censored CPAC because we stood with former President Donald Trump on his lawsuit against Big Tech. Matt Schlapp, yet another example of Big Tech censoring content which they disagree in order to promote political positions they favor. Yeah, they also did that to Right Side Broadcasting right before, I think it was the Florida rally from a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, they were just going through their archives as well and then just struck something, and then they weren't allowed to upload and they weren't allowed to cover it. Pretty fucking convenient timing if you ask me. According to the ACU, YouTube said in the note that they have removed the July 9th episode of the conservative group's America Uncancelled program for medical misinformation. Oh, that wonderful nebulous term, just like hate speech or cyberbullying or spam and hateful practices. Harmful practices? Don't know, because neither does YouTube. And it's another one of those purposefully vague descriptions for a policy because, hey, if it's whatever we need it to be, then we can go ahead and apply it as such. ACU said that clearly Google's political biases heavily influence YouTube's definition of misinformation, and they accused the tech giant of favoring the political beliefs of Google executives over the free speech rights of Google users. Yeah, pretty much. But it looks like the UK government, who's normally the architects of some really horrific shit, all you need to do is just see hate speech laws, and what starts over there normally disseminates across the rest of the world. And yeah, this is why we need to be paying attention to this as well. ID could become mandatory for new social media accounts in a bid to halt online abuse. It's always for your protection, right? They just want to keep you safe, guys. You know, from that online abuse that's totally real. It's like every once in a while I get like a really, really low IQ comment or just some kind of insult. And it's like, if I don't want to deal with it, I don't respond to it. Or I just type something snarky and it fucking disappears, okay? You just turn that shit off. It's fucking fine. Okay? Yeah, we want government to go in there and do something with social media, but making it so that you'd have to provide identification to sign up for social media accounts? I don't know about that. The motherfucking government can't even keep a fucking pipeline open from somebody in the fucking Russian basement from turning off their shit for like a fucking weekend. So why would I trust them? And why would I trust a fucking company like Facebook who ends up leaking every other month with any of your information? Because they don't own just Facebook. You guys know. Messenger, Instagram, WhatsApp. There's like 6 companies at the world at this point, and you want them to just have a picture of your driver's license? You want them to have your social insurance number? I know they're basically tracking all your shit at this point. You take a look at what TikTok's doing, taking your biometric data. All because, you know, somebody might want it at some point, CCP. But why is all this stuff coming up? Because of something we talked about yesterday. The news comes shortly after 3 England players were targeted with racial abuse. How? Why? Did they face anything? Did they literally get chicken and watermelon thrown at them? Like, what are we talking about here? Or I don't know what black guys in the UK eat. Probably regular food because they're regular people, except for the fact that they're multimillionaires, and they more than likely wouldn't have seen those incredibly astroturf comments from very reputable sources, not just some troll accounts with one name and like 85 fucking numbers at the ass end of it. Unbelievable. Imagine, right? This is 1986, okay? Now, we would have had to change all of the different sports coverage of Bill Buckner, right? He wasn't just some fucking goof that let a ground ball run through his legs. No. All those fucking drunken Southies out there. Dude, Bill Buckner, what the fuck? That fucking cocksucker. Go drop him in the Harvard yard. Government policing bars across all of New England and what? November of 86. Oh, we gotta stop all of this hatred against Bill Buckner and the Red Sox because words have consequences. No, they wouldn't have done that because men were still allowed to be men in the fucking 80s. But I digress. The news comes shortly after Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, and Bukayo Saka were targeted with racial abuse after they missed each opportunity to score a penalty shootout during the England v Italy Euro 2020 final. Yeah, imagine that. Whenever somebody misses a penalty shot, they get fucking shit for it. Been happening forever. Anyways, for more on that, just watch yesterday's video. It'll be one of the fucking iCards that fly across the top. Other black and mixed race spokesmen in the team have since been targeted online following the tournament loss with racists commenting monkey emojis. To be fair, there's probably some watermelon emojis in there as well, and probably some chicken ones as well. So, but I'm sure like Harry Kane and the rest of those guys probably aren't getting any shit for fucking losing the game too. But no, it's just those guys, right? Get fucked. Discussions are soon set to take place following a petition launched by Katie Price in March 2021. That fucking pincushion who looks to Joan Rivers not for her comedic inspiration but just her surgery bill and thinks that she can do one better. Gained more than 500,000 signatures, more than 100,000 result from the issue raised being debated in Parliament. The petition, which is nearing they right there have 70,000, but I'd imagine it's 700,000 signatures, reads, make it a legal requirement when opening a new social media account to provide a verified form of ID. Where the account belongs to a person under the age of 18, verify the account with the ID of the parent or guardian to prevent anonymized harmful activity providing traceability if an offense occurs. Oh, good. Good. Yeah, if anybody wants to shit post after, let's just walk this out. Let's just play a little realpolitik, shall we? Everybody has to start putting their name, and it has to be their verified picture. Whatever. I don't really care that much. I kind of like my new logo, but yeah, I could just do with my smiling face up there. Oh, whatever platform we're going to be on. Okay, fine, cool, whatever. But if I step out of line with whose rules? Whose rules are we talking here? Do I get charged if I say that somebody looks like a limey cocksucker? Do I get charged in fucking Scotland for breaking some hate crime? Would I have to appear in front of the European Union's fucking Human Rights Council if I said something fucked up about somebody in Germany? Or would I just get prosecuted in South Africa for being white? Like, what the fuck are you doing here? I'm not really terribly opposed of having verified individuals having verified accounts. I think that if you want that, that's fine. I think that should be open to anybody who's willing to have their account verified. I think that just makes things a little bit easier, and it creates an impossibility for fictitious accounts. But making it mandatory now that pretty much everything is online, and especially with that little disclaimer at the end, nope. It continues. Well, my son is affected. My son Harvey is disabled. Well, you shouldn't have been taking miles of dick for decades, you fucking dumb Binton. You would have fucking had a much lower chance of popping out a dud. He is also the kind and gentle son of a person regularly in the public eye. The Online Harms Bill doesn't go far enough in making online abuse a specific criminal offense and doing what Harvey's law intended. Listen, stupid. I'm not talking to your son. I'm talking to you for a minute. Do you think he knows? Do you think he sees that stuff? Do you think it really affects him? No. No, you're just trying to play white knight in this situation. And you're just trying to make everybody suffer because you have to wake up and take care of that dunce. It sucks. Don't burden me with your fucking failings. To make the law work, we need the removal of anonymity to ensure that users cannot cause harm by using online platforms to abuse others. While an offense has taken place, they ought to be easily identified and reported to the police and punished. By saying mean things on the internet that some person may or may not ever see or be able to make actionable upon. Oh, he said he's gonna punch me the next time he sees me. Yeah, he's also from halfway across the world. The horror and the shock. Now, you just want more control. You just want more control. And you know what? People are stupid enough to fucking actually try to push this through. Like, you just take a look with the two bills right now. Bill C-10, which thankfully got defeated in the Senate up here in Canada. And then you got Bill C-36. I think that's correct. And that one's just targeting hate speech. It's like, no, none of it. Get rid of all of it. Do you really think that making anonymity online is too far out of reach? I don't think so. I think in the next 5 years, yeah, no, this is definitely going to be going in front of a whole host of different governments. I don't see this not happening. And like it says here, a little bit lower. However, in response to the businesswoman and model, decades ago at this point, the Department for Digital Culture, Media, and Sports said that a proposed legislation could disproportionately impact users who rely on anonymity to protect their identity, but recognized its concern linked to anonymity online. Yeah, because some people would just do a workaday job, and they got a really overbearing human rights department, or not human rights, human resources. There's no human rights whenever there's one of those divisions around, that force them to do these sensitivity trainings, and most people just kind of pay lip service to it and then just kind of walk through it, don't really pay a whole hell of a lot of attention to it. Just because I'm putting my face out there, just because I'm speaking what I want, it doesn't mean that I expect anybody else to. I don't really care either way. If you guys are getting put online, that's fine. That's fine. Starting to learn the truth. You're starting to do your own investigation. If you got to hide behind an avatar in order to put out some information, and you just want to have a good time and shit on a stupid post that Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, or somebody puts out there, that's fine. Because nobody's going to go after the career of some finished old whore. But meanwhile, some dude who goes in, punches a clock, and works in a cubicle, if he just wants to make a spicy meme or something that somebody might take offense to, on behalf of somebody else, especially in this case, I don't think that they should be losing their job over that. Because that's what would happen. That's exactly what would happen. That's even what they're wanting. Traceability and criminal offenses. Like I said, this probably isn't coming around the corner really quickly, but within the next 5 years, yep, it'll be up there. All it's going to take is just one more AstroTurfed event, and we'll be right there, dudes. So yeah, that's some funny stuff that's happening online right now. And we got to do a little bit more cleanup because more stuff's happening in Texas, and it's worth highlighting. I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.